Hi guys, welcome back to Hearty Conversations. We are so hyped to have you here. Paul, do the dance.
Guys, in high school they used to chase me all the time for dancing. I was always the one assured of being chased. So, if you're disappointed, whoops, you chose the wrong person.
Anyway, we're so glad to have you on board. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. If you have not yet subscribed, please click the subscribe button below. If you have a topic you would want us to address, please leave it in our comment box. Otherwise, I'm Awu Marita.
I am Mirembe Gabrielle Paul.
And let's do this.
Dun, dun. Okay.
So, our topic today is a variation between positivity and toxic positivity. And I think 5 years ago, the word toxic positivity started to show up on our timelines, on our social media pages. So, Paul, what's the difference between positivity and toxic positivity to you?
To me, positivity, first of all, is when you attempt to have a positive outlook towards life. So positive is your outlook is more associated with positive emotions. So there is hope, there is joy, there is encouragement, that type of thing. When it becomes toxic is when there is no room for any other emotion. When if we are not positive, we are positive. We must be okay. That sounds weird. But basically, we are like shoving the positivity down your throat. Like, you must be positive. Basically, that's how I see it.
I think that's a very good explanation. For me, positivity is always thinking something good is about to happen, just good stuff is surrounding you, and then toxic positivity is having all these other emotions and not allowing yourself to feel through them because you're so stuck on putting up a facade that you're positive and good things must happen by force, whether these other emotions are being felt or not.
Yeah. So how would you say? First of all, has there ever been a moment where you were toxically positive?
Yes, I think for the longest time, I was toxically positive before I got my diagnosis because I knew I was sad. I had had 5 suicidal attempts that I didn't know about, but I knew about. I had been depressed for so long. I had anxiety, but I decided to deassociate from all those emotions and put up a facade that everything was okay, everything was fine. And I remember for me, it hit home when my young sister, after I got the diagnosis and I was an inpatient, my young sister said something to me that hit home. She was like, I thought your world was all roses and daisies because you had this facade that everything was fine. I didn't expect you to be in a dark place or to have all these dark thoughts. So I was like, Delulu is a solution for the longest time. And it didn't help me. It just got me in a worse state.
I have also been I think also me. It was before I was diagnosed. Because I grew up in the church, so you're kind of like God is on your side.
Goodness and mercy.
Yes, goodness and mercy. Then what the tongue speaks. Is it what the tongue speaks? The Bible scholars might come for me. But basically, how you speak it into existence. What you believe will come to pass. Have faith.
The tongue is a creator.
Yes, the tongue is a creator. So I was sort of like, I knew I was sad, but I'm like, no, I must be happy. I will be happy.
By force.
Joy is on my side.
Don't they have serotonin or not?
Exactly. Exactly. So whenever like a dark emotion came, I said, no, we must bind, spirit. So yes, I've been to. How did that affect me? Is I came to associate, like, if every time I would have a negative emotion, I would sort of like panic. I'd be like, oh my god, this is not like, I was like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be happy, or like, I'm not supposed to feel this.
Like, you even panic, like you think that you don't have enough faith, you haven't prayed enough, you haven't fasted enough, and they say some things don't go by just prayer. You have to pray and fast. So you haven't done enough of those things. But for me, I knew I had done all these things, and all these things had failed. So by the time I decided to get help, I was at the end of myself. And even the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So I was in that state. For the longest time, I was suffering. I dreaded being alive. Yet, now I know I can have Jesus and have therapy. I can have Jesus and go to see my psychiatrist. It's like seeing any other doctor. By the time I permit myself, when I have malaria, to go into hospital and get help, it's the same thing for my mental health. So I think for me, my toxic positivity kind of started to end, because it didn't take one day, because it's been installed in you for years. It didn't take one day to unlearn toxic positivity.
I think we talked a bit about how, so basically, anyway, because the next question is, how did it affect your mental health? So we are saying it negatively affected your mental health.
It did.
Yes. So now, the next question would be: is it good for someone to be is it good for someone to be positive all the time, or is it okay to feel bad things as well? How can we find a balance between the two?
I think for me, I found the balance in understanding that God created me, and with me, He created all these emotions. If He didn't want me to have all these emotions, if He didn't want me to feel them, He would have just not created them. But also, I believe, like, things like anger is a perfectly good emotion. It will make you know what you should not accept in your life. But then the parties, don't let it rule your life. Fear is a good emotion. Imagine there was a lion, and instead of running away, you start running towards it. It would be a bit problematic. We wouldn't see you the next day.
So we need to see you.
So these emotions are totally good emotions. The thing is, feel through them and then find a way to accept, feel, let go if it's a negative emotion. I think for me, that's how I have found a way to balance it with my mental health now, that makes me feel more grounded and more in tune.
I think for me, because of the toxic positivity, I didn't learn how to deal with negative emotions. And even up to now, I'm still learning how to deal with them, because for the longest time, my response to negative emotions was look for a way to switch it to a positive one, as opposed to saying, okay, why is this emotion here? Stuff, and even it also ended up affecting my relationship with God, because it like became too much work, and I was like, God, these things, okay, it was too much work. And how I'm finding a balance is exactly what you said. Negative emotions are there for a reason, and they are meant to be felt. And you're not saying God is not good because you allow yourself to be sad. Like, you're not saying God
is not there.
Exactly. Yes, you can be sad while still appreciating that yes, God is good and God is faithful. Because even if you look at examples in the Bible, you have like Job, who, even David, people who, when they were sad, they called out to God, and they felt those emotions, and when they were happy, they still called out to God. I don't turn this into a sermon. But what I'm trying to say is, you need to learn how to feel your emotions and how to feel them in a healthy way. And if you're being positive all the time, there will be no room for you to learn how to deal with things like fear, sadness, etc., etc., etc.
And then you end up de-associating, and de-association is a lot of work to do in the moment, but it's also a lot of work to undo when you've come in at a point of your healing where you really, really need to do with it, to deal with it. I have spent a lot of my energy undoing the association. The last time I celebrated myself, I celebrated my birthday was 5 years ago, because I was in this place of, okay, now I have all these emotions to deal with. I couldn't even get to a place of celebrating myself, because now all I was feeling and dealing with were all these negative emotions that I had packed up at the back of my brain. Yeah.
Yes. So finding a balance is possible, and sometimes it might take time.
Yeah.
But you need to allow yourself to feel these emotions, because if you don't, like one day, eventually they'll catch up with you. Eventually you'll reach a place and you can't run, you can't like hide from them anymore, and you'll have to feel them. And when they are like all piled up, it's so much more, like it's so much more intense, and that can lead to so many other mental, like it won't be good for your mental health, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, dealing with our emotions, people say, makes us more vulnerable. How has your vulnerability made you stronger?
So, I'm not very good at being. I recently realized I'm not good at being vulnerable. I thought I was, because I have a blog and like I write my things. But I realized that even in all of that, I'm still trying to present a picture of myself that appears okay. That yes, I struggle, but in my struggle, I'm still
fine. I'm still killing it.
Exactly, yes. And the question was, how has your vulnerability made you stronger? I think. Pardon that sound. That was not. I don't think it was a very womanly sound. Anyway, how I think it has made me stronger in the sense of. How can I say it? Because I've been like in my weak, okay, the Bible is, in my weakness I am strong, but I am not strong because I am strong. I am strong because in being vulnerable, people are able to see me, and when they see me, they are able to come in and support me, and that's how I end up being strong. It's not my, like it creates a sense of community, and in creating a sense of in creating a community, we can all sort of pitch in and hold each other up, as opposed to me saying, no, me, I'm the hero of my movie, I must win, and ending exactly. I end up I end up dying in my own movie, and everybody says, hey, has it ended? Are we still going? What is happening?
It's a series.
And we didn't know.
Anyway, I think my vulnerability has actually made me accept the times that I need help. And it has taught me I'm still learning. I am still learning. I was talking to my partner the other day, and it's like, Rita, I don't like asking for help. So I'm still learning. In case he watches this.
Yeah.
I am learning how to ask for help when I need it. It's so hard to be like, I can't do this on my own. I need somebody else to walk with me on this journey. I need my parents to come and chip in. I need my siblings to come and be supportive. So for me, vulnerability has taught me that there's strength in the moments you're not okay. And even in those moments, they don't define you, and it's totally okay to ask for help and accept help, because there's asking for help, and when it comes, you're like, no, I was joking.
Yeah.
No, it has told me it's totally okay to accept the help and to take time off and ground myself until I'm back on my feet again and I'm okay. Yeah. So next question. Can being too positive cause problems in relationships or at work? How can we create environments where it's okay to be real while staying positive?
Yes, can it create problems? Yes, it can. Can create problems because the world is not simply positive and happy and we are all just dancing around and loving life. That's not how the world is. And if you want to live in a place where you're like creating your own reality, so for you, like someone will come in and say, Tom was involved in a car accident. Then for you, like, no, but Tom will be well. Tom, and Tom is like, my leg is broken. In the moment,
you're not well.
Let's
first accept.
Yes, you're sort of discrediting what Tom is going through. So it can affect relationships because, like, other people, for you, you're saying all is well, but everybody else is feeling the hurt. It sounds like you're what's the word? You're discrediting their feelings. You're sort of saying you're feeling it's not bad. You're invalidating their feelings. Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Invalidating is the one.
You're invalidating their feelings. So how can we? I think it's important to acknowledge the reality that yes, we want Tom to be well and we can be hopeful, but we need to acknowledge that Tom, he's not well right now, and there's nothing we can, like, in the moment. There's nothing I can't mend Tom's leg. We have to wait until Tom's leg gets well. So I can come to Tom and I can say, Tom, I'm sorry about what happened to you. I'm sorry that you're in this situation. How can I support you in this situation? As opposed to saying God is with you. And we're not saying God is not with Tom. We are just saying there are other circumstances around Tom that also need to be acknowledged.
I think what really hits me in this toxic positivity, where I've seen it happen a lot, time and time again, is in instances where people lose a loved one. And like people will just say the most random stuff, like, oh, you have another baby, or life will move on, the grief will pass, it happened for a reason. Like, in that moment, what is the reason? What was the reason? Like,
have you heard that song? What was the reason?
Yes, because we invalidate people's emotions so much, or we immediately have a story to tell that totally.
There's one that I was listening to. A lady, her husband died, and then she was like, and people would come up to me, I know what you're going through, my cat died too. And you're like, well or they'd be like, or like maybe you're sick, and then like, oh, I know what you're going through, I couldn't find my earring the other day. And you're like,
it's just so sad. I remember the time I was on this church group, and I was they're like, oh, it's a safe space, what? So Bambi Uma. I was like, safe space, let's go, let's share. So I say, going through this depression and stuff like that. And the pastor on that page was like, oh, the last time I was depressed, I just worshipped it away.
If only.
I was like, yes. So I wanted to ask, because before the previous week, she was like, oh, pray for my son, I'm taking him to hospital. So I wanted to ask, why didn't you worship your son's malaria away? Like,
the worship was...
the worship only was...
Why in that situation the worship was not worshipping?
Yeah, so basically, this toxic positivity, like, it leads people down a very bad road. People are not able to get help, and hence look for help in negative coping mechanisms like drinking in order to feel through their emotions, and hence getting addicted. They decide to go on a sex tour, but I wasn't on the right.
But they like cope through sexual.
They cope through fulfilling their sexual desires, and so that people will look for anything to make them feel good in that moment in order for them to put up the facade that they are okay.
Yes, I think actually you've hinted on something. Toxic positivity actually stands in the way of your healing because it doesn't allow you to admit that there is a problem.
Yes.
It doesn't allow you to admit that, oh, something isn't right. Because you have to be good all the time, or you have to be okay, or you have to present strength.
Dora the Explorer, we go, we're happy.
Exactly, you know, Dora.
Yeah, so what can we do when someone insists on us being positive when we are struggling? How do we set boundaries without hurting their feelings?
When someone insists, I think first of all, if they are insisting, I think you've come like to, what's the word? Got the words have all disappeared today. But you've come to sort of like pour your heart out, like you're looking for comfort. I think first of all, for me, because when you come to have that conversation with that person, you're at a moment of need. So the moment they start with the toxic positivity, for me, I would say just sort of like put your blinders down, because you're at a moment of need and they're kind of pulling you lower. So I would say you can be, okay, don't like slap them, but understand that like for you, this is like a life or death moment. And this is going to affect your psyche.
Yeah.
So for you, like, don't listen to them. I think in such a moment, I would say get away from that person. Like, I don't know, because now to start debating with them, oh, this is toxic
to take you down.
Exactly.
Lower. It's going to affect your mood and make you even go down a deeper.
Yeah. So for me, I would say just remove yourself from that situation.
But have you heard of this song, blocker? You guys, that is my way of dealing with you this year. You come to tell me your things about mental illness, you want to debate with me, blocker. I'm trying to explain to you, you want to out-explain me when you haven't educated yourself, blocker. I will block you. I even made my Instagram account private because you don't even follow me, but you're here trying to trying to put me down. And so that I can come on and produce content where I show I'm happy and no, I'm not happy. When I'm not happy, I'll say I'm not happy, and I have a right not to be happy. And it's totally okay for me to make content when I'm not happy. Even when I'm crying, they are not your tears. They are my tears. You let me be. And then there are these ones. I remember now I just started talking about mental health. That these ones who used to go to my parents to report me. Please, come say it with your chest.
Be brave.
Come to me.
Be brave.
Say it with your chest. Have you heard of this tribe? They're called Samias, Hey. Yeah, we are very good people, but once you keep poking at us, we are also not very good people. So you guys, I have reached a point in my life where I'll block you, I'll set boundaries, I'll do anything for my mental health. So don't try me.
You've been
Stay
sharp.
Don't try me. Maybe I'll take it like that.
Don't try me.
Don't try me.
I've tried to explain toxic positivity over the years. I've tried to understand it. I've tried to educate, advocate. Nothing has worked for some people. Now for those people, there's the ones in a don't try me bracket. You come and say it with your chest and also say things with my chest, and then we go.
You've been warned.
Anyway, this episode it started with dancing, but
about how can we teach others about the dangers of toxic positivity. These now, like Riha said, there are some of these lessons that people refuse to learn. So there has to be an element of you as an individual seeking out the knowledge. Like there's only so much me I can do to teach you. You know, you have to be receptive as well. So I think I would say, for example, if you know someone who struggles with mental illness, or you know someone who is, like going through the dumps, like if someone is being toxic, like exhibiting toxic positivity, you be the one to call them out. Don't leave it on this one who is already struggling with something to then now have to say, you know what, no, the other time, don't try me, etc.
Don't try.
So I think stand up, like when you see it happening, stand up for people and have conversation about it. You don't have to stand up and like slap and be like, the other time, anyway. But like you can have conversation about it, and but then also I think you need to understand people's boundaries. If someone sets a boundary, respect it. We are not at that place, and it doesn't mean we can still be cordial and like say hello to each other when we meet, but also understanding that there are certain things that are none of your business, and there are certain things to do with you that are none of my business, and we can like respect each other.
And boundaries don't mean that again that I don't respect you, I don't understand your point of view, I don't love you. Boundaries are put in place to protect people from certain things. So for me, that's a boundary I put, because honestly I've been having a lot of people come say very condescending things into my inbox. So this time I decided to tell you the truth. Don't try me. I think another thing you can do, like Paul say, just how it takes time to Google how many songs Rihanna has, is she coming back on tour, is the same amount of data and time you can use to educate yourself about mental health, mental wellness, mental illness. Take time, educate yourself, learn, accept when somebody is telling you what you're doing is wrong, because most times, indeed, it is wrong, especially when it's coming from people who are fighting with these illnesses, disorders. When they tell you, hey, ABCD that you do isn't right, it really isn't. So listen. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this episode. It's been real. Pa will dance for you.
Just so you come back.
We hope to see you on our next episode. Remember, like, subscribe, follow us, share. You guys share. Let this information reach people out there. And most importantly, we hope to see you next time. This is from me to you.
From me to you.
Wishing you love and light. Till next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.